Hey there, I hope you're enjoying your summer. I have a hot summer deal for you. I am offering a bonus 4th session with any of our 3 session packages over on spiritcenteredbusiness.com. That includes live busting and activations and business coaching. So if you'd like to take advantage, break off those limits, move you forward in your destiny, and you'd like my help, go over to spiritcenteredbusiness.com and grab any of the 3 session packages today. I will automatically bonus you the 4th. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Spirit-Centered Business Podcast, where we blend the spiritual with the practical for supernatural results. Now, here is your host, Bralynn Newby.
Well, welcome back to Spirit-Centered Business with Mark Scherer of Encompass Life. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So if you guys missed part 1, definitely go to spiritcenteredbusiness.com or the YouTube channel and do catch part 1, because that's all about Mark's story, and he left us on a great cliffhanger about transforming our life. So Mark, I'm going to just give you the floor and you get to teach, share, whatever you want. I'll just jump in and ask questions every now and then. How about
Thank
that?
you. Thanks for doing another top podcast too.
Sure, of course.
You get a lot of playfulness in you. It's wonderful. And to enter the kingdom of heaven, what do we got to be like?
Children
and play. Yep, exactly.
I tried adulting. It doesn't work well for me.
I know, me either. 50 years of it. Now it's like, just play and have fun.
Exactly. Yeah. So tell us more about the system, about the process, about what you do, quantum coaching, Encompass Life, all of it.
Yep. So the system is we work with thoughts, words, and feelings. And the difference we have that's very different from most other modalities, our distinguishing factor. Most modalities work with, you got to think positive thoughts and don't think negative thoughts. I'm sure you've heard all that stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yep. So, and when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, I take everything back to the basics. When Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they got tempted by the serpent, by the devil, to eat from this tree of knowledge of good and evil, right and wrong. Correct?
Yes.
So once they did that, they fell from grace, and they became embarrassed, and they fell out of this unity consciousness. They got kicked out of the garden, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I read that story as a kid, by the way, that pissed me off. Oh my God. I mean, like a little kid, like reading that and going like, God, God, like why that, like, what is up with that? And like that kind of stuck in me. I guess that was for a long time. I battled that for a long time. And then as I began to find this system, I began to realize that in each and hundreds or thousands of times a day, I'm being tempted to eat from that tree myself. But I'm being presented with the same choices that Adam and Eve were. I could eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right and wrong. And whenever I bring this stuff up, people go, I mean, there's no good and evil? I didn't say that. I
have a theory on that.
What's that again? I
said I have a theory on that, but you continue that and we'll come.
Yeah, so whenever I make this may sound weird, but the source of all pain and suffering is eating from that tree. All disease occurs when you eat from the tree of good and evil, right and wrong. If I'm living in this perspective of right and wrong, that's a 3D world, and 3D world appears very real. I can't see the purpose of my pain. Life is happening to me, and it also reflects in the endocrine system. There's a gland called the pineal gland. The pineal gland produces the chemicals for imagination and enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, meaning with God. And the pituitary gland is the gateway from pain to intuition. If I'm in pain and I judge the pain, then I drop down to anger. And then from there down to fear, and then to grief, and then to apathy, and then to unconscious. I'll move down scale in consciousness. If if I don't make the pain wrong, and I ask for, what is my message here? What is God? I talked about finding the gold nugget in the pain. What's my gold nugget in this pain? What am I being taught here? What is my message? Then I will get the information and move right back up into enthusiasm. So I used to, I mean, does that mean I live in that 100% of the time? No, I wish. But I have a way of managing myself. So if I'm in it, my job is I get off of it immediately, which sometimes works. But one of the things, if somebody calls me on it, which I have a team of coaches here. So if I'm on it, if I'm kind of, they go, hey, Mark's on it. And they laugh at me. And I can either, when they did it, I would either, God, these people are laughing at me, you know. And I said, well, I can either get pissed at it, or I can laugh with it, live with them, and be done with it. So, and I love laughing with my team. So what am I going to do? Be pissed or laugh with my team? I choose laughing with my team. And once I laugh at it, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So even in like romantic relationship, like one person's on, yes, you're on it, you know, but you can get off of it really, really quickly. And then, and all that stuff just dissolves. It's like a odoriferous smell in the wind, you know. Oh, what was that? Ooh, and it's gone, you know.
Yeah.
So that's one of the keys in being able to walk around in this meditative state, is being able to stay in the state of finding out what's the blessing is in everything in life. In scripture it says everything under heaven has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's true, which I really believe it is, then finding the purpose as quickly as possible and making adjustments. Even in your business, if you're in a business business here, and you're looking to really propel your business, then the faster you can make changes into these worlds, the faster you're going to recover, and the faster, more money you're going to make. I mean, it's just so tied together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all, I mean, this is like the Holy Spirit guiding you, you know, but you have to be at the frequency of the Holy Spirit to hear the Holy Spirit.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yep, definitely.
I'm like, oh, life's not fair, life sucks, and oh my God. Well, all you're going to see is more what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. That is so good. So the way that I have worked with clients in my business is what you're talking about is the actual writing of the new operator manual. Like, you get rid of the old thing, but you're so conditioned, and biochemically, and there are neural pathways, and all of this stuff is conditioned to that old way of thinking, that we have to have that new operating manual and continually remind yourself, oh yeah, I'm doing life different now. Come on, soul, get on board with me.
Yeah, sort of. What we do here, rather than getting rid of a pattern or releasing it or letting it go, what we do here, we're getting a PhD in that pattern.
Okay.
And so instead of, like if you've been feeding a dog for 40 years and you let it go, or you run it off, or any of that stuff, that dog's going to come back because you've been feeding it for 40 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we do here is we have people recognize a pattern, get right in the middle of it. Don't judge it right or wrong. Just, what does a pattern cost you? What's the payoff been with it?
Mm-hmm.
And once they can see all their things, you have to get up above it and be able to, don't make it right or wrong or anything. But I found there's 4 things that hold the pattern into place: shame, blame, guilt, and hate. So if you got a repetitive pattern, if I'm working to try to shift the pattern, it ain't going to move. I got to deal with the glue that's holding it in place to have the pattern shift. Once I can work with the glue, once the person gets rid of the shame associated with the pattern, it moves in seconds.
Right. Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
So once people can get a PhD in it, then the pattern is going to put on a different coat and come back and try to sneak up on you in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so instead of like letting it go and it'll put on a different coat and come in another door, be aware of all the things in the pattern. Aware as a snake and as gentle as a dove, right? In scriptures.
Right. As far as how does this manifest in your life? What decisions am I making when I'm on this pattern rather than in the truth?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you used a word called, you said decisions. So that's the root word is decide.
Mhm.
So if you say decide, so say decide.
Decide.
Now say insecticide,
Insecticide.
genocide,
Genocide.
suicide,
Suicide.
homicide.
Homicide.
Now see the word side is about killing something off.
Oh yeah.
And what God gave us is free will to make it to freely choose, not make decisions. Freely choose. When if I used to live by decisions, and when I was deciding things, I was killing off something, and I couldn't be with that thing. So rather than getting where I couldn't be with it, now, like I said, like get a PhD in anger, get a PhD in hate, get a PhD in jealousy. Find out everything about it, recognize all the patterns, recognize all the conversations, notice how it sneaks in and gets you. Then what does my life look like if I continue to live this way? And you can see the trajectory of it. And then what if I shift to this? Now I can see the trajectory of this, then I can simply choose. But until I can see both trajectories, there's no choice available. And that's where the power and what we're doing here is you can actually, the pineal actually has you be able to see the trajectory for both.
Oh, that's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different what we're doing here. It's really, maybe when we're doing this, can you feel a little pressure building in your skull doing this?
Well,
it's going to build between here and here. There'll be a little bit of pressure building. What's that again?
I'll have to become more aware to feel that.
Yeah, and pressure begin to build, and that'll be the pineal and pituitary begin to start talking to each other.
Oh.
And they'll start to activate, and all of a sudden, I'm beginning to see, I'm beginning to feel. And whatever we're feeling now ain't nothing compared to what's coming. One of the things we talk about here is, what does your life look like at 10 times more love, 100 times more love, 1,000 times more love? Most people don't even believe, have never even considered the possibility of that. But until you begin to consider the possibility of it, all you can think of is in your little 1 to 10 box.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 10 times more.
Yeah. I know when I'm doing some co-creating exercises, we ramp up the vibration of the feeling, and it is hard. It's like you said, you can't, like, it's hard to describe and it's hard to feel something if you're not familiar with it.
Yeah, you got to give yourself, I mean, I remember I give me permission to be happy. I mean, that was like, oh my God, happy. Like, what is it? You got to language it. I give me permission to be happy. It's okay for me to be happy.
Yeah.
I mean, most people compete on how much pain they can take and how much they can complain. Most people compete on that. Let me tell you about my kids. Oh, you think your kids are bad. Let me tell you about mine.
Right.
And they compete on that. You think you have it tough. Let me tell you about mine. And we're so, that's where all the entrenchment comes in place. And I was leading the class, and I had maybe 40 or 50 people in the room. I said, tell me what you don't like or what you hate. Oh my God, the passion for people speaking what they hated. I hate when people pull out in front of me. I hate when my husband leaves his dirty drawers on the floor. I hate when the lead leaves it, just one after another. Just give me 3 things. Oh, I got way more than that. I mean, they were so excited about sharing what they hated. I did a little more lecture. So, hey, tell me what you love. I could have dropped a pen in the room. No one would speak what they loved.
Oh my gosh, that is
sad. Yeah, and this is what people are walking around in.
Oh.
And like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't want this. I don't. That's that's the language of separation. That's the language of hate.
Wow. The thing that came to me when you said, what do you love? This is the crazy thing. The smell of rain on asphalt.
Awesome.
I know, right? Isn't that a weird thing that came to me? But
you know what I really love? I love being in class and I see somebody's eyes go from where they're sucking energy in to sending light out.
oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden their eyes begin to sparkle. I love seeing the sparkle in people's eyes.
I love to see them light up too. You're right.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, all of a sudden 5 years falls off their face.
That's so
Or I love hearing somebody laugh from their belly for the first time.
yeah. You know, you address this, I'm sure. I just want to hear your take on it. Some of the things that I run into is that people don't have an identity without that pain or without that whatever the negative.
Yep.
So they don't know who they are without that. So how does your system address that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So inside their pain, they're going to find their purpose. And once they find their purpose inside their pain, then their purpose will drive them. And their purpose is bigger than what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And they could be flipping burgers at McDonald's, and their purpose could be, I ignite playful love in everyone I meet. That could be their purpose in life, right? Mm-hmm. And so they'll be doing that while flipping burgers. They'll be the best McDonald's on the planet. When somebody begins to live in their purpose, really live in their purpose, everyone around them starts to vibrate at that frequency, or they leave.
Mm-hmm.
So it's everything we do here is a simple, replicable system. And it's easy. Maybe you may shed a few tears, maybe get a little pissy or something for a bit, but once everybody goes, oh, it's gonna be really hard to shift. No, what's hard is staying where you are. As soon as somebody shifts, I go, we'd like to go back where you are. Oh, heck no, why not? That's really hard living that way. Oh, yeah. But that little liar voice inside you, oh, this is going to be really hard. Oh, my God, you just don't know how long it's going to take. Oh, my God, yeah, well, I'm going to have to do all that. I mean, oh, just hush up already. It can be fun. It can be fast, fun, and easy. I'm from Texas. I like fast, fun, and easy.
Yeah.
Christ came. I came for you to have life and have it abundantly. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Since I'm from Texas, I like to have fun. Let's have fun in abundance. Let's have fun in abundant life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. So they're finding their purpose in the pain. And so that is their identity is aligned then with purpose.
And then they get to see the pain stays in place until the future becomes congealed enough for them to go, for their pain body to go, you know what, screw it. This looks pretty good for what I'm going into. And the pain, instead of getting rid of the pain, because you can't get rid of energy, right? The energy that's stored in the pain will give its energy to the person's new life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because it transforms.
Yep, it transforms.
Beautiful. Awesome. So I know that you kind of touched on it at the end of the first segment, but could you go through the different courses and workshops again that you have, and what's the difference between them, and so that someone could make a decision?
Yeah, we have a lot of different points come in. We do have some recorded classes on our website. That maybe $300, $400, $500 of recorded classes. There's a language class. We have a recorded version of the basics, and basically this is just basic spiritual promises or spiritual laws. And these laws are always in place, and once people begin to understand them and trust them like they do gravity, their life starts to take on a velocity of greater and greater boldness and velocity in their manifestations, conscious manifestation. Most people are manifesting unconsciously. Everybody's manifesting all the time.
Right.
Yeah,
we're creating whether we like it or not.
Yeah, exactly. The ones the unconscious creations we call karma, and the conscious creations, or the delta change from an unconscious manifestation to a conscious manifestation we call a miracle, was the same tool doing both.
Yeah. Oh, I love the way you said that. That was really good. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, the classes we have, the basics, we have a recorded and a live version of it. in-person version is 2 2-hour calls per week plus an individual coaching call. And we have them during the day and also have it in the evening. We rotate them up like that. From there, we have a class called the Core, an online class, and this is for leadership development, for if you're leading your business. And a leader requires to be able to stay in the pocket. Like all hell can be breaking loose around them, but the leader who can take a breath, make eye contact, you gotta do this, make eye contact,
Right.
and stay with their team, stay with their client. They'll become successful, and they'll be the peace in the eye of the storm, right? The peace in the storm. So that's a leadership development class and a coaching curriculum class. And then from there we do body language. From there we do a thing called I Talk, and we do presentation module, and then we do a 3-month advanced class. And the advanced class is intense. It's like spiritual ninja stuff, man.
Cool. Yeah.
And then we have the How to Wow class, which is a live in-person class. I lead that class, and also a class called Body Electronics I lead as well. All of our classes are small, more boutique style. We normally limit them around 30 people. So everything's experiential. It's not just somebody get up there and lecturing to you and doing a multiple choice test. It's like watching somebody get on a motorcycle and do a flip on TV, and you're like, yeah, I know how to do that. Well, in our classes, you're gonna get on the motorcycle and you're gonna do the flip. You got to get it in your body. You got to get in your body to really be able to do it. You got to be able to have it in your body and repeat it, and be able to replicate it within your team and your family.
Okay. So do you have just single sessions for someone who's experiencing something and they just need a release right now? Do you have questions?
I do. I have a number of coaches who do that also, but I recommend people start off doing the basics.
Okay.
You're gonna get a way better value. And then once people do the basics, then I'll do 30-minute sessions rather than doing 15-minute sessions with somebody, because once they understand how the system works, it's going to be way easier to do an individual coaching call rather than spending your money doing the things that we can work with you on in a group environment. So we do offer get to know you calls. Hey, I'm not really sure if this is right for me. We have ways for you to reach out to us on our website, and we'll help you find your perfect plan.
Wow, that is so good, Mark. Okay, is there anything else that people need to know about the system, or that you just want to share or teach or anything?
So what we're doing here, how this is working so quickly, is rather than monitoring thought, what we do here is we change the feeling first. And then when the feeling changes, that changes brain chemistry, changes body chemistry and brain chemistry, and then thoughts immediately change. So it's way faster. Most other people are changing thoughts. We're changing the body chemistry and brain chemistry first. And that's what's producing the breakthrough results so quickly. So we're doing it from the other way. It's way faster than all the other modalities I've been involved with. And I found this, like I said, I asked for it and I got it, and I was like, oh, why isn't somebody doing this, And I think I shared with you just recently, we've had a lot of PhDs come through our classes, and PhD psychologists, PhDs, and we've had doctors come to our classes as well, medical doctors, naturopaths, other coaches, and they said what you're doing here is really, really different. And some of them took it back to their university, and we're telling them to tell the dean what we're doing here. And they contacted me about September last year, I guess, somewhere around in there. And they've been interviewing me and sending people to classes, getting reports on what we're doing here. Just like, is it really validity to what we're doing?
Right.
And they're like, yeah. And they're working with us to create a master's and PhD program in conjunction with what we're doing here. And I just got my PhD from the body of work I'm doing here, and I have to do some other stuff too to fulfill the requirements of it. but basically they went through our classes and audited things and went, guys, this is your thesis. So
that is so good. So one other thing that comes to mind when you're doing that. So do you have the scientific, like you said, that it's replicable? Do you have the science behind stuff already, or when you partner with the university, then that's when
we have science behind us. We, like one of our clients, she's a Western medicine doctor. She had autoimmune disease for 11 years. She came to an introduction I was doing in Houston a number of years, or maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. She signed up for a thing we call iTalk, like a private coaching call. She did it with one of my other coaches, and then she came to body electronics. When she did unbeknownst to us, we didn't know she had the autoimmune disease and everything. So when she comes to body electronics, we were talking with her about people like, hey, how long you been involved with this? What's changed in your life since you've been involved with it? She said, well, I had autoimmune disease and I did one session with you guys and 90% of my symptoms disappeared in 48 hours. So that's pretty big. You know, and she's worked with us since then. Yep. She worked with us since then, and she's healed all the rest of her stuff. Not only that, she had some issues, you know, some family issues, all that healed. She's now in our coaching leadership program. She's starting to lead classes with us as well. I mean, she's still doing her doctor stuff, but she loves what she's doing so much here. She's doing that. We've also done a live blood cell analysis where we take blood cell analysis before and after somebody does the session and have it analyzed. And people will go, the people analyzing will go, well, this person's got all kind of issues, you know, health issues, this going on. How about this person? This person's doing great. I said, it's the same person. Well, how long was the samples taken? 20 minutes apart, because that's not possible.
Wow.
Yep. We're noticing people who are coming through our class who have severe cognitive decline. Women, when I got out in their 70s, was coming through with really tough times being able to put their words, you know, their thoughts into words. And he's been working with us maybe for 6 months, and his cognitive ability has gone way, way, way up. So that's, you know, they say, you know, people in their 70s, that shouldn't be happening, right? So we're partnering with a chiropractor who does brain work as well. They're bringing some things that we're going to start measuring brain activity, and we're going to start be doing all that. And we are raising money to be able to do MRIs and, you know, do brain scans and stuff as well. So
the brain tap technology is one of the things that we've used to kind of measure that heart rate variability and other biometric metrics, you know, to see before and after sessions. That might be something that you guys would be able to use, because it's not a huge expensive system, you know, and it's pretty reliable. But you would have to have a person there, and you couldn't really do it over Zoom. You know what I mean? It would
right. Yeah, we're doing it at our live event classes, and then we're also doing things where we're tracking somebody that may come to a live event and then come to another live event several months later, and what's the differences of them in that course of time. So we're developing case studies.
Yeah.
And we've had people who've increased their income by double, triple within 60 to 90 days. We had a person increase their income by 10x in a year. I mean, just some really phenomenal things because they got their. I mean, let's do it this. I'm gonna do it this way. What I've noticed, a lot of people in business, they become very successful, or successful to the degree they do, and a lot of times that success is driven off of anger. And what I mean by that is, you know, I was poor as a child, and by golly, I'm going to show you, I'm going to make something of myself. Well, that's anger and resentment. And if they're doing that, or if they're operating that way, they may become very successful up to a point, and then they're going to reach the glass ceiling for that, or they'll get to a certain area and they're still doing well in business, but their health's beginning to decline. So the only thing that has people that has people really, really thrive in all areas of their life is love. If there's any of that anger and resentment, or I'm going to do it because I told you so, I'm going to prove it to you, or any of that stuff that's in that person's consciousness, it's going to cap them out. So being able to find those patterns very quickly and finding them and reversing them in a matter of minutes, or maybe a session or two, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then having somebody, the How Wow class, we had somebody come to class, and within, I think it was 30 or 45 days, she doubled her income. I mean, that's wild.
It is really, really wild, but it's totally doable and absolutely true. When you change what's going on in here, it changes what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is so good, Mark. All right. So again, people, go ahead and go to encompasslife.com, and we'll definitely have the link in the show notes below, wherever you are viewing or listening to this podcast. I so appreciate you coming on, Mark, and sharing. This has been so great. And again, you guys, if you missed part 1, definitely go get that. Share this out with your friends, because I think this is a new quantum kind of way to look at the the things in your life and the things in your life. Right?
Yeah, it's the teachings of Christ. I mean, it's all about these things and greater things you shall do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put one comment about that.
Sure.
I used to say that and I used to think of that I was a recipient of that. That Christ said that for me to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling my clients, well, these things are great things you should do, and and I missed it. I remember one day I was in my office and I was contemplating that it kept coming up in me. It kept coming. I could hear that thing was repeating itself to me, and I went, so Christ said these things and greater things you should do. This guy, here Christ is walking on water, healing people, doing all these things, and he's giving that as a blessing. And then the voice said, "Is greater to give than to receive." So I noticed whenever I'm training people, like sometimes my coaches will do something in a way that's new to me. Like everybody's coming up with their own way. It's not a guru here. Everyone's getting their own information from God, and they'll do something. They'll do it in a way that sometimes I'll get a little bit jelly. Like, God, I can't believe they did it that way. And I go, oh, these things and greater things you shall do. Right. And I'll call them and go, hey, I'm gonna just let you know, I've got a little jelly about the way about how far you've advanced in what we're doing here. And I'm really, really proud of you. Mm. And so when you can start to give these things and greater things you shall do to your team, to your spouse, to your children, then if that jelly shows up, it's going to be minuscule. And then you just say, I have a little jelly going on, and I'm really proud of you. And that's going to elevate you too.
That's so good.
Anyway, I love this stuff. I can talk about it for days.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. We might have to have you on again if we're talking some more time.
Yeah.
Well, it's been really
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, of course. Of course. And again, you guys, encompasslife.com, and leave your comments below. I would love to hear about where, on YouTube or wherever you want to leave the comments about what you did. What did you think about what Mark said, or about, if you went out and checked out the website, what you think about it and all of that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear the comments from the peeps. And again, we so appreciate you supporting the show, sharing with your friends, liking, subscribing, being a fan, whatever that looks like, whatever button you're pushing, we appreciate.
You're an awesome host. You're an awesome host. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. All right, you guys, until next time, stay spirit-centered. Peace out. Hey there, SCB peeps. I want to give a huge shout out and deep appreciation and thanks to Candace Benton. She has become a super sponsor for the Spirit Centered Business Show. So I would appreciate you helping me in sending blessings and abundance back to her. Thank you so much, Candace, and you are well loved.
Thank you for listening to Spirit Centered Business with Bralynn Newby. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. The next stage of doing business by being spirit-centered is coming together in collaboration, working with spiritual principles and knowing our destiny. Join our tribe at spiritcenteredbusiness.com, and we'll catch you on the next broadcast. Peace out.